Okay, so now that we did the factoring trinomials part, where we had the three things and you made the parentheses, we're going to do something different. So you'll have 2p squared plus 8p to the fourth, for example. Right. If you think back to a problem where you had like px plus xr, and your job was to, I'll even finish it with this, equals 10. And your job was to solve for x. We had a problem because it was like, oh, well, I can't divide everything by p because I'll still have a p with an x. And I can't divide by r because I'll have r with this x then. So we're stuck. So your class said, oh, well, you can just underline and you can kind of like vacuum out the x's from the problem and create a distributive property problem. So this would become x, and then you would have p plus r left. Right? So if I distributed that, I would get right back to where I was. And then you could finish it and be like, oh, I can divide both sides by the parentheses and I'm done. This is kind of that same thing. So your job first off is to consider the numbers like, oh, 2 and 8. What number goes into 2 and 8? Think of it like a fraction, right? You know how to reduce that fraction. So what you're going to do is you're going to tell me, okay, Mrs. Stoltz, I know that I can pull out a 2 because I can divide both of these by 2, right? But you also need to pull out the p's. So you have to think like this. There's 2 p's here and there's 4 p's here. So how many could I vacuum out of the problem from, and it has to be for both of them. So I can take 2 p's from here and I can certainly take 2 p's from here, but I can't take out 3 p's because there's not enough here for me to take it out from this guy as well. So I'm going to have to leave it as p squared. And then what I'm going to do is just write down what would be left. So if I removed the 2 and the p squared, I'd be left with 1. All right. You can't have 0 when you're doing factoring. You have to write 1 if you don't have anything. Plus, right? So if I did 8 divided by 2, I would get 4. If I had 4 p's and I removed 2 of them, I would have 2 left. So that is factored. Takes a while for that to sink in, so I'll go ahead and do another one, right? So your weekly challenge problem, you were supposed to make up something that had a factor of 6. So let's say you want to do 6 and 36, right? Those are both, multiples of 6. And you're supposed to use your initial, so let's use f squared m and f cubed m squared. And you can write plus or minus, whatever you want. I'll write plus for now. So first things first, you need to realize, okay, 6 and 36, I can definitely divide both of them by 6. So that takes care of that. Right. Now let's count our f's. We have 2 f's over here, and we have 3 of them here. So I can vacuum out 2 f's from this problem. I have 1 m over here and 2 of them over here. So I can vacuum out 1 m from the problem. Now your job is to tell me what you have remaining. So either you can do it mentally or you can write it down. But remember, what you're doing when you factor is division. So really what you're doing is you're trying to do this, 6f squared m plus 36f cubed m squared. And you're telling me, Mrs. Stoltz, I need to pull out a 6f squared m from the problem. So that's really what's going on behind the scenes. So a lot of kids will do this part in their head, but some kids can't handle it. So if you need to write it out, write it out. But that's what you're doing essentially, you're dividing. Well, that all just becomes 1. All right. 6 and 36, that becomes 6. We would cross out the smaller exponent and take it from the bigger, so that leaves you with f. And we would cross out again the smaller and take it from the bigger, and we get m. That's your factored form.